Returning to our top story, a bittersweet night for BC Liberal leader Christy Clark. The Premier-elect led her party to a stunning victory, defying dozens of polls predicting an orange crush across the province. But the Liberal leader lost a tough fight to hold on to her own seat in Vancouver Point Grey. In a back-and-forth battle, Clark was defeated by NDP candidate David Eby by 785 votes. And David Eby, the new Democrat who managed to unseat the Premier of British Columbia, joins us now live from Vancouver. So happy to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
And congratulations, big victory for you.
Thanks.
So I gotta wonder, how does it feel today to be the man who in some ways, or at least one definite way, dethroned a queen?
Well, it was just so exciting personally, and for our whole team last night to watch the results come in. We were packed into a little tiny room, and it was back and forth through the whole night until the very end when we started to pull ahead. So it was incredibly exciting for us. But then we saw the provincial results as well, which made it very bittersweet for us. It was hard to know that we'd been successful when so many of our colleagues that ran incredibly strong campaigns were not.
Absolutely, and I want to get to the NDP as a whole in a minute, but specifically you mentioned this back and forth. It was really remarkable. I was here at our results desk at Sun News Network. We watched the numbers closely all night long. It was quite the rally. Are you a nail biter? Because if you are, I'd be worried to see your hands today.
Yeah, I barely have any fingers left. It was very close. Ultimately, I was elected with a comfortable margin, but it was back and forth. Our riding is a unique one. There's lots of students. There's some very wealthy areas. Lots of rental housing in some areas. So some of the polls very favorable for me, some for the Premier, and it did go back and forth.
On a serious note, what does it tell you, David, about the people of Vancouver Point Grey? They chose you, but I guess when you look at the overall picture, BC as a whole picked the Liberal Party last night.
Yeah, I think that our party is going to be looking very carefully at what happened in the election last night. I am personally stunned at what happened, and seeing the results. We were going in, according to the polls, with a very comfortable lead. And I expected us to do much better, so we're going to have to look at this and see what happened. I know that one factor was low voter turnout. We would have liked to have seen more people at the polls. One of our main goals was to get more people engaged in the political process. So we'll be looking at that carefully. And on a local level, I'm just so flattered and honored that the people of Vancouver Point Grey have chosen me as their representative, and I will work very hard on their issues and earn their confidence. And I hope to win again in 4 years with a much wider margin. On
a national level, we talked a lot about some major issues in British Columbia that do have national implications, like energy. Do you think that played a factor in the NDP's, I guess, I don't want to say demise, but obviously the lack of a victorious outcome last night?
Well, I know what played a factor in the Premier's loss last night in our riding, and that was her total abdication of environmental issues. Vancouver Point Grey is a very environmentally minded riding, and I heard again and again at the doorstep people's concerns about the massive increase in tanker traffic that was proposed out of the Kinder Morgan pipeline project, the Enbridge Northern Gateway pipeline project, and the fact that climate change did not figure at all in the Premier's throne speech that was all about natural gas production. We simply can't walk away from these issues, and BC has a responsibility there. I think that the vote was, as much as it was about having a local representative, it was about rebuking the idea that we have no responsibility on climate change, especially if we're going to be a resource development focused province.
I have to say, David, you're learning very quickly. That was quite the politician's answer you just gave. I got to ask you as well, you personally, are you feeling any pressure right now to represent your party, given that you've had this victory, you've accomplished a great deal, but again, it goes back to the fact that the party itself has a lot of rebuilding ahead?
Well, I'll be representing the NDP in Vancouver Point Grey and bringing forward our positive agenda there as much as we can in opposition, and also holding the Liberals to account. There's a lot of talk and speculation about where the party's going to go and how we're going to respond to these kinds of things. But for now, just very happy to be the MLA for Vancouver Point Grey, to know that we sent the Premier, well, not packing because she didn't live in the riding, but we sent her to another riding anyway to run somewhere else, and we'll run a very aggressive campaign there wherever she lands.
Did she give you a call last night?
No, I'm still waiting on the Premier's call. I'm sure it's going to come any minute. I know she's a very busy lady, but I look forward to it.
David Eby, NDP MLA elect for Vancouver Point Grey. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right.